Texas innovators are pushing the boundaries of what we once thought was impossible. More than ever, technology is expanding the possibilities. Medical miracles, engineering marvels, and scientific wonders, they're all happening today and being developed here in Texas. These many accomplishments have given birth to the Academy of Medicine, Engineering, and Science of Texas. Our goal is to foster the men and women achieving the most. This year, we continue a tradition of recognizing the very best and brightest up-and-coming Texas innovators through awards established in honor of Edith and Peter O'Donnell. Tonight, we present the 2007 O'Donnell Awards. David Mangelsdorf grew up dreaming of becoming the next Jacques Cousteau. Clearly, his passion for discovery remains as he submerges himself into molecular biology research. Today, at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center, Dr. David Mangelsdorf's findings are making a global impact. His work is opening up new treatment options for health problems as diverse as cardiovascular diseases and hookworms. His focus has been on finding ligands that match a specific set of protein molecules known as orphan nuclear receptors. These matching ligands act as keys that can unlock and activate the receptors.
When I came to UT Southwestern, I discovered the ligands for two receptors. One of them modulates cholesterol homeostasis in the body and binds to metabolites of cholesterol, and the other binds to bile acids in the body and modulates bile acid homeostasis.
David's groundbreaking discovery of how these receptors can be activated is certain to have a huge impact on medicine, especially for the millions of Americans with health problems resulting from high cholesterol.
The medical implications are pretty clear immediately, that this represents a potential drug discovery pathway. You can activate this receptor by drugs and essentially remove excess cholesterol from the body.
More recently, David's taken a creative approach to solving another major health issue. He and his research staff have discovered a hormone that controls the life cycle of worms, and thus may have found an effective treatment for the billions of people around the world afflicted with hookworms.
His perspective on this was that this receptor regulates the life cycle in worms. If you can regulate that with a chemical, you could use that chemical to alter the life cycle, and it could be used to treat diseases that are associated with worms, like hookworms.
In my laboratory, I like the high-risk experiments and the high-risk directions that lead to potential discoveries like this. And not only because of what they might do for mankind, but also because it's more fun. It leads us in new directions.
And this solute will diffuse across the membrane.
Dr. Tony Nikos wouldn't normally be expected to teach undergraduate students like these. After all, he's a world expert in the field of tissue engineering. But Tony has an ulterior motive. Not only does he enjoy the interaction with students, his class at Rice University serves as a recruiting tool, bringing the brightest up-and-coming engineers into his field. It's a novel approach, but so is his research. In a rapidly expanding field, Tony is a leader in developing new ways of using tissue engineering to repair orthopedic injuries.
We're working on the development of scaffolding materials that can be seeded with the patient's own cells and be transplanted into a defect to induce a regeneration process.
Tony's bioengineering lab at Rice has developed a family of degradable gels that can help repair and regenerate bone and cartilage. One form can be injected into damaged portions of bone. As it hardens, it forms a porous scaffolding, illustrated here in this computer model. Not only does it provide extra strength and support, but cells seeded in the material help promote new bone growth. What's more, this process eliminates the need for surgeries to implant and remove conventional rods and screws. Instead, the material degrades in the body over time.
This type of research really can lead ultimately to procedures that improve quality of life in a very substantial way.
The scaffolding materials are still in the testing stage, but could soon be approved for testing in humans.
Recognizing some of the current problems with the treatment of diseases and the ability to impact the way that patients will be treated in the future, that's the driving force, that's the motivation for us.
While his research is on the cutting edge, Tony is committed to sharing his findings with others. He's one of the founding editors of Tissue Engineering, the premier journal in the field. And each summer he teaches a short course on the subject to hundreds of students, researchers, and speakers from around the globe.
It's not only that he's an expert in tissue engineering, but he is one of the people who defined that field and created that field.
My dream has been the translation of the laboratory discovery to the clinic. I think what excites us all is the ability to develop new technologies that patients can benefit and we can improve healthcare.
Dr. James Chen's state-of-the-art laboratory at the UT Southwestern Medical Center is a far cry from the small village where he grew up in China. But the challenges he overcame from those humble beginnings have prepared him to face some major scientific obstacles. In his lab, James has made remarkable progress in searching for greater understanding of cell signaling in the body, signals transmitted from the membrane of the cell to its nucleus.
What has set James apart from others has been his ability to simplify this very complex biological process and to recreate it in a test tube. But he's applied that scientific approach to two very different but related biological phenomena.
James's research has led to a revolutionary discovery about ubiquitin, the protein commonly called the kiss of death for the way it degrades other proteins in the body. James and his staff have discovered ubiquitin has another purpose, playing a role in activating proteins to regulate immune response and cell growth, including abnormal growth associated with cancer.
Armed with that information, one can then begin to think about rational strategies where you could disrupt the disease process by targeting with drugs or other approaches these individual components that he's described.
James has also made another important discovery about the function of the structure in cells known as the mitochondria. For 50 years, scientists have studied its function as a cell's source of energy. Now, James's groundbreaking research has revealed that the mitochondria plays another role as well, that cells use the mitochondria to defend against viral infection. Ultimately, these two major discoveries by James have the potential of leading to new medications that can treat various forms of viral diseases or cancer.
You know, you go in, you try to solve a problem, and along the way, there are surprises waiting to be discovered. And that's the fun of doing science. And I think, you know, in our research, we constantly run into these surprises, which are very exciting.
Tonight, the Academy of Medicine, Engineering, and Science of Texas congratulates David Mangelsdorf, Tony Nikos, and James Chen, the 2007 recipients of the Edith and Peter O'Donnell Award.